One of the things Kathy and I did over the summer was we decided it would be fun to review all the old trucker movies and TV shows from the past number of years, have a look at them all, see what we thought about them, give them a score, and present them to you to see what you think. It was a lot of fun to do. So here we go. I'm ready. I've got my trucker boots ready here. Got my chain drive wallet. Let's go back a few years and look at some of these TV shows and movies. The first movie we reviewed was Duel with Dennis Weaver. Now, I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a little red car being tailgated and chased through the desert by an old Peterbilt pulling a tanker. It was a classic movie for its time. It was Steven Spielberg's second film ever, and it launched him into huge fame. So it was a big deal for its time. Now, the old Pete in the movie, which really in most of these shows, the star of the movie is truly the truck. Dennis Weaver was pretty good, but really we're watching it for the trucks. The star of the show was a 1955 Pete. Now everybody thought that this was a 351 Pete, but really it was a 281, and they added a tag axle to it to make it look like a 351. In fact, there were a lot of modifications they did to this truck just for the movie. They couldn't find exactly the truck they wanted. They wanted a 351. Spielberg wanted the 351. The closest they could find was this 281, so they modified it by adding an axle and some other stuff. And they needed it to do, Steven Spielberg needed it to do 90 miles an hour for this movie. So that old girl with the Dayton wheels, can you imagine if they hadn't modified it, the thing would have shaken itself apart. Back in the day, the only way you could get that truck to do 90 miles an hour was push it off a cliff. Truck had a 13 speed. It was built in California in 1954, and everything was filmed through the California desert, that area. It's interesting to note when you watch the credits on this movie, whoever was driving the truck, he didn't get any credit in the movie, and I thought, typical. Even in 1971, truck drivers weren't getting the credit they deserved. They canceled them right out altogether, so I was annoyed about that. But really, excellent movie. Sadly, this old Pete with the needle nose and the butterfly hood, they're rare and they're hard to find anymore. And this one they used in the movie was destroyed in the final scene. And when you look back now, if they'd have known then how popular these trucks were going to be, they'd have saved it, I'm sure, or tried to come up with something. But sadly, that truck was destroyed in the filming of the movie. Out of 10, I gave Duel a score of 8 out of 10. And Kathy gave it an 8 too, so she thought it was pretty darn good. It was a TV show. It ran from 1974 to 1976, and it was called Moving On. Starred Claude Akins and Frank Converse, and it was a TV show. It ran for 2 series, and you know, the storylines were kind of hokey, but I watched it for the truck. The truck was a 925 Kenworth, and that's the predecessor to the W900A, and which is the most sought after truck these days, is the 900A. In fact, I liked it so much, I bought both seasons of this TV series just to watch them, and I really enjoyed it. Kathy, not so much, and Kathy used to sit with me to try to get through the series, and she would nod off and fall asleep watching Moving On. So it wasn't that great a TV show, but I liked it, and I liked it for the truck. I gave it an 8.5, mostly for the truck, and Kathy gave it another part of the reason I liked that TV show too was that Claude Akins did such a good job. He reminded me of so many of the older guys I've known. He was kind of grumpy and rough around the edges. I thought he did a great job. I thought he really came across like a real truck driver. So that was part of why I gave it what I did. The next big movie to come down the pike was White Line Fever. It was a cab over Ford, and they called it the Blue Mule. It starred Jan Michael Vincent and Slim Pickens. Slim Pickens. I watched that movie just because I love that guy's name. I think that's such a cool name. Anyway, it's about an independent versus the system. The big scene in the movie is when he finally gets fed up with the whole thing. He's fighting the system. He takes the Blue Mule, bobtails it to the headquarters of the evil guys, drives it up a ramp and drives it right through the glass sign of the Glass House, which was the name of the bad guy's corporation. that was kind of the highlight of the movie. The rest of it I thought was all right. Kathy really liked it, but I thought it was okay. I gave it a 7. Kathy really liked it, and she gave it. I didn't like it so much, but a fair number of people did like it. It made $35 million at the box office, so it must not have been too bad anyway. Next up, Smokey and the Bandit, 1977. Probably the biggest trucker movie ever. Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, Jackie Gleason, Jerry Reed. It was a huge hit. Second highest scoring movie at the box office that year. First year it made $300 million. There were 2 sequels to it, and it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek, light-hearted movie. There were some good scenes with the chase scenes and the black Trans Am. Burt Reynolds had this infectious laugh. There were all sorts of really good things about it. They made fools of the cops, but in kind of a funny, nice way. And I thought it was really well done, and I enjoyed it, and obviously so did the rest of the public. Something interesting to note about that movie was they used a Kenworth, but the trailer that Jerry Reed was pulling in the movie was a Hobbs trailer, built in Texas, a 40-foot Hobbs. And they don't make those, of course, anymore. They were a division of Fruhoff, and Hobbs is gone now, and so is Fruhoff. But what a sharp-looking trailer that was, and I remember those from the day. And of course, the Bandit's truck was pretty classy with the murals all the way down it. I really got a kick out of the movie. Kathy liked the truck, and she thought the acting was terrible. I didn't watch it for the acting. I watched it for the fun. I gave it a 9. And Kathy gave it a 7, but notice the Smokey and the Bandit t-shirt she's got on that we picked up at the Kentucky Truck Show a couple years ago. So she wanted to show that t-shirt off, but that was a huge hit, Smokey and the Bandit. Something else I really liked about Smokey and the Bandit is they all had handles like the Snowman, and they had CB expressions like Kojak with a Kodak. Next notable truck movie to come down the line, 1978, Convoy, and everyone remembers that. Chris Christopherson, Ali McGraw, Ernest Borgnine, and Burt Young. And it was an all right movie. Obviously, Mac was one of the sponsors. Their sales were slipping at the time, so the stars in the movie both drove Macs. Burt Young drove the cab over, and the Duck drove the R model Mac, and it was okay. My favorite scene actually was after they had the bar fight, or the truck stop fight, and they had handcuffed Ernest Borgnine to the bar stool, and he can't get free. He's got to get out and chase those guys, and he's locked to the bar stool, and the truck stop waitress comes along and just lifts the seat off so he can slide his handcuffs over. I thought that was the best scene of the movie, but really it was a pretty unrealistic show. You know, they were beating up the cops. They had a 1,000 truck convoy. At the end of the day, I wasn't that impressed with it. He was prepared to drive across this little rickety bridge into Mexico, and the Mexicans were obviously prepared to let him do that, which wouldn't happen either. But the movie was based off a song by C.W. McCall, and it was a really good song. The movie, not so much. At the end of the day, it was okay. I didn't think it was that great. I gave it a 7. Kathy really didn't like Convoy. She thought it was the stupidest one we'd seen yet. She gives it a 3. I should add, though, it couldn't have been that bad because it made $45 million at the box office, and that's not peanuts. The next one, 1998, Black Dog. I don't know how many of you guys saw that one, but it was truly a dog. It was Patrick Swayze, Randy Travis, and Meatloaf. And it tried. It had all the props. It had the chain drive wallet and the Big Pete in it. But the hokiest scene for me in this whole movie was just before Patrick Swayze gets behind the wheel. He opens up his case and he puts on his driving gloves. And you just know that anyone that wears driving gloves like that's a goof. So you write him off right from the start, and the movie didn't really get any better. There were some good crash scenes. They wrecked some Volvos and some Freightliners, a few good driving scenes. But other than that, there really wasn't very much good to say about it. I think at the end of the day, it proved that Patrick Swayze should have stuck to dancing. Randy Travis should have stuck to singing. And Meatloaf should have stuck to his diet. I didn't really care for this movie very much. I thought it sucked, honestly. And I got to tell you something else too about that movie. They kept referring to the black dog as, I don't know, something the truck driver sees at night when he's tired or something like that. In 45 years of trucking, I've never seen the black dog. I don't even know what the hell it is. I asked a few of my friends, they'd never seen it either. So nobody knows what the black dog really is, but it's probably because we all had the common sense to pull over when we were tired, unlike Patrick Swayze. I gave it a 4. Kathy, who liked it a little better because she likes Patrick Swayze, gave it a 7. Now I know what you're thinking. I've done these movies in chronological order and I've forgotten BJ and the Bear. And I wish I could forget BJ and the Bear, but I haven't, so let's talk about him for a minute. Basically it was Greg Evigan and a monkey riding around team in a really nice cab over Kenworth, Aerodyne, great truck, matching trailer. They never really seemed to haul any freight with it. I always thought the plot line was stupid. I really couldn't get into it. I gave it a 5. These days, Greg Evigan's kind of faded into nowhere. Never hear from him again, don't know what he's doing. But the monkey's driving for Swift. I thought it was goofy. I gave it a 5. Kathy gave it...
I like the monkey.
She liked the monkey, so she scored it up. So that's what we thought of these movies and TV shows. That's how we scored them. Let us know what you think, how you scored them. Let us know in the comments section below. I'd be fascinated to know what you thought of them. Well, thanks for watching, you guys. Let me know if I missed any one of your favorites. Write in, keep the rubber side down, and I'll see you on the flip.